All right. Today, there are no prompts, there's no building, there's just one resource, right? I think, however, that this day is more important than the others. We had a very strong pace, right? Ideas, ways to start, like everything was super aggressive. But we've never sat down and said, okay, let's decompress. Let's go around and talk about all the little things that Lovable has to offer on the account level side, on the menus, on the features. And that is what today is going to be about. In fact, why don't we start from the homepage? Why don't we start from the beginning, as it should be, right? And talk about what we're seeing here. First thing you're going to notice is that there's this collapsible sidebar menu with another collapsible menu, which allows you to choose between different workspaces. Most of you will have just one. And within it, you can define the settings of that workspace. The username, main name, who are the people that are going to be a part of it? Are there going to be any templates as a part of your workspace, depending on what type of plan you're on? You're going to be able to define your plans and credits, see whether you want to upgrade or switch over from pro to business. Look at your cloud and AI balance. Definitely the first topic we're going to touch upon next week, right? Then go over your security center, browse your entire account as well. And in here, as you probably recall from our last lesson, one of the previous lessons, your vibe coding level, username, a bunch of things that you can configure, right? You can also browse through connectors because guess what? Lovable connects with so many different amazing things. And we're going to talk about a lot of these things next week, right? And then finally, connect to your own GitHub account because Lovable, among other things, allows you to own your code, right? So that's just the home screen, right? Now let's talk about your projects, right? If you scroll down, you're able to browse through all of them, look through your templates, look through your everything, really, everything that you've ever built, right? So let's open one project to start talking about what we're seeing on this page, right? What is it? What is all of this stuff and how to interact with it, right? And let's start from the top left corner of the screen. This is your project name, right? This is how, if you, let's say, use manage the Google Auth from Lovable, other people will recognize your project. So if you want to rename it, you just click on the name of the project and you click rename and then update it to say, I don't know, sales page, right? Doesn't matter really. It's just anything you like. This is something that you can specify and it's not something that's quote unquote limited to you or that you're bound by, same way like you're bound by the domain, which is something that we're going to be covering next. Again, if we go back to this same menu, you can see my credit count, how many credits I have left, and I can see the credits remaining in my plans and credits menu, as you've seen earlier in the past. If I wanted to, I could also make some credits by spreading the love. Make sure to share Lovable with your friends. This is your referral link. Copy it, get somebody to sign up, and earn credits when they sign up and publish their first website, right? So that's a pretty amazing offer, I think. In the settings wheel here, you will have project level settings available. You will be able to see how many edits you've made on the project, how many credits were used, define different levels of project visibility. I'm on a business account, so I can either switch to personal or public. If you're not on business, you can see that you would need to upgrade in order to do so. You can select your project category, you can feature it, rename it again, remix it, right? We talked about that. You can remix your own project, you can transfer it to a different workspace, and you can publish or unpublish it, right? So a lot of amazing stuff are hidden here, right? Among other things, in project settings, you can define your project domain, right? Whether you're bringing in an external domain, buying one through Lovable and Ionos, or just defining your lovable.app domain, which we're going to be doing in the publishing settings, you can do that from here as well. We're going to talk a lot about project knowledge on day 10, right? I'm not going to cover it right now because it's not contextual. I just want you to know that it's there, and that's where it lives, right? Let's continue further down our settings over here. You can start projects, move them to folder. You can even earn some bonuses, right? So just so you know, when you send 25 messages to Lovable, you can choose where and how you want to claim a bonus, right? I've claimed a bunch, right? I've sent messages, I sent my first message. There's a lot of things that we give out bonuses for. Don't worry, you'll be prompted and these will be shown to you as you are able to attain them, right? You can change the appearance here to light or dark or system, and then finally ask for help, right? Pretty awesome, right? So let's continue further down the left. And right in here is basically our chat stream of all the messages that you sent and Lovable responses, right? And it is in here that you can interact with the agent in the most profound and most important way possible. If you've seen any of my clips or any of the clips of me on the web, I will always say, I don't write code because I'm not a developer, but I religiously read agent output. And the way to do so is when you get a commit message like this from the agent, click on the details and then click on this little expand all icon. This is how you can read, in this case, code, but a lot of times if there's thinking involved, right, you can see how the agent was able to get to it. Like you can dismiss these code lines and code edits, but you can see which files were edited along the way and how the agent was thinking about when it was building things. Now, this project is pretty modest, pretty early into the build, so there's not a whole lot of thinking. There's not a whole lot of investigating, right? But on bigger projects and bigger builds, on things that are more complicated, you will encounter this to be a much, much more deeper more interactive experience, right? And you can always click on the changes right here to see the exact code changes, mention the file in the chat, or view it entirely. We're going to talk about code mode in some future lessons, not today though, right? So I'm going to collapse this, close it out, and continue further down the road. Now, as you can see, right next to the details button, there's a preview button. A preview button allows you, as you scroll up through your build, to preview your app in its previous state, right? And it also allows you to bookmark it in history, right? Now that I've done so, I can click on the View History button and again, show you something that I've shown you before, which is the version control panel of Lovable. Like right now, only 3 edits deep. This project does not have that many edits, so it doesn't matter much. But once you get into bigger builds and get into projects with thousands or hundreds of edits, this will matter a whole lot, right? Bookmarking the version that last worked is one of the things that I would do constantly, right? And if something breaks along the way, I would be able to go and click on this little icon and revert to the version that I found to be the one that worked the best. Like, let's say I bookmarked this, I continue building, something breaks. I have to remember and know when was it the last time that it worked properly, and then revert back to that moment in time. You can restore from this top right corner of the screen as well. We're going to do that right now. You can click to view in chat, so you're taken directly to that message, and then just click revert. I mean, there's so many locations that you can interact with Lovable on, just to make sure that you're doing the right thing and you're enabling yourself with all the options available during the building process. Lovable has reverted. I'm back to that previous version of this app, and I can always expand and see which messages I reverted back from, right? So you can always undo your decision to revert. I can go and preview and also go forwards, right? So I can restore the newer version, which is pretty amazing, right? All right, let's continue further down the road. Right next to it, sidebar, simple, collapse, expand, pretty easy. I'll go back to the latest, right? This is how my app looked like, pretty nice. Now, when you are out of ideas, when you don't know what to do next, Lovable has become really good at providing you with these prompt pills and automated suggestions, right? So in this case, you can just click on any of them and then just send your prompt away to Lovable and let it start working on that particular feature, right? I can even stack them as well, which is another great Lovable feature, right? I'm adding messages to the queue, which is also editable. It's copyable, right? So I can copy it again. I can remove things, like very, very, very cool feature. So if you have plenty of ideas that are like right on top of your mind, but you can't wait to dump them in, just add them into the queue, let it run, go for a walk, do whatever. And as you can see, it's sent it automatically. I didn't touch anything. I didn't do anything, right? So I can now say, add the anchor navigation. Let's do that. Add testimonials. Let's do that. Pretty awesome, right? Now that we're all tangled up in this little box right here, you can definitely see and hopefully understand by now that this is how you continue to talk to Lovable. Now you can type like this, or you can click this button right here and start dictating to Lovable using your voice. I use Whisperflow, but you can do it in Lovable natively as well, right? Lovable allows you to plan even after you've started building things, right? So you can switch over to plan mode, and when you do that, you're actually again taking Lovable out from building the app and writing code to becoming your brainstorming companion. So what I could do is maybe prompted something like this. Hey, what are a couple of more things that you would like to add on this page to really make it world class, right? Let's try and have it partner up with me on the design. I'm just going to stack this, right? And as you can see with this little icon, it says that it's a plan mode queue, right? Which is, again, pretty amazing feature, right? Let's turn it off though, because there's another great mode that I want to show you. So the original mode is something that I call the agent mode, which is you prompt Lovable and it writes code for you, right? It just does these actions. So this is the agent mode in action, right? Now, the plan mode is the second one, which we just triggered. There are two more, right? One of them is the visual editor, right? I just click on the visual edits, and as you can see, that just allows me to hover over different elements of this page and make changes to them. One of the easiest changes that you can make is just change the text here, right? And say my page, right? Doesn't matter that I don't know how to type. And then just click save right here on this button, right? So this prompt is going to show up right there in that corner. And when changes are saved successfully, you can click on the visual edits right here again. And what's cool about this is if you clicked here, you will see that this was made as a visual or manual edit, which means it costs 0 credits to do so, right? Which is pretty awesome, right? That you can use a lot of the features of Lovable for free. Another free feature is code mode, right? To access code mode, that doesn't mean you need to be a coder. Again, you just click on the details. Let's just do this exercise together. I can see that I've modified this page right here. I can look through the changes and I can go and view the file, right? And this is the file I updated. So I've changed the title of my page from whatever it was to my page. So I can try and do Control F and say my page, right? So that I can find it, and there it is, right? So if I wanted to change it to template, right? I can just click save right here. So I can do this manually, like maybe some of you will be into that. And as you can see, it went from my page to template very seamlessly. And again, visual or manual edit, costs 0 credits to do. Pretty amazing, right? Now, you can do more changes than just text using Visual Editor. If you click on the visual edits, and let's say you clicked on this button, you can probably also change the background color of this button and the text color, right? So what I like to do is I can just choose and pick one of the colors. This is the primary color, which fits this one, which Lovable already knows what I want to do, right? And I can just update that. I can say, well, I want actually to use this maybe in white or maybe in a different shade of black. Great, I can change that as well. I can add margins, I can add paddings, I can do lots of things, right? Again, as soon as you're done, you click save. Lovable confirms the changes were made. Boom, we have a new button right here. Pretty amazing, right? So those are the modes, those are the corners of the screen. For additional actions, there's this little plus icon, which offers a lot of goodies. Again, takes you primarily to project settings, but allows Lovable to take screenshots, add references, which is another great feature. Let's say I wanted to change something on this homepage screen, right? I can just go at index, right? Which is probably this, right? There's also the index HTML, right? Which defines the metadata, title, description, or whatever. And I can tag it and say, please update this page title, meta description, and generate the OG image according to what you know about this business, right? So I can ask Lovable to do all these things for me. Now you may be asking, okay, well, how did those look like before you made that change? If I click on the publish button and expand the website info, you'll see that it just says, this is a Lovable app, Lovable generated project, no share image, nothing. Let's just dismiss this for now. Just let it sit there while Lovable is making this code change. I'm going to explain to you a couple of more things. As you can see, Lovable is generating my OG right now. So we may as well even check it right now. Let's see. Let's just have a confirmation, loading preview. Always wait until the code change has been fully saved, like this code change has been done. And I can know exactly how many credits it cost me to do so by clicking on these three little dots, right? If I click on the publish button in the website info, now all of a sudden it's Pitch with AI, right? Pitch with AI. That was the original name, right? We updated the template. Now there's obviously some changes that I've made along the way that I should have made Lovable aware of. But as you can see, it had Pitch with AI in here, so that's where it took the inspiration from. Okay, we are currently in the preview mode, and this is what we're seeing. So you may be asking, okay, but why am I seeing everything so big, right? When we expand, this is desktop, and we all know 90% of your users are going to come from mobile. So how do we navigate in a way which allows us to do that, to see how that looks like? Well, by clicking on this button right here in the middle, we're truncating the view to tablet and then back to mobile, and you can browse and see how the mobile experience is going to look like without needing to publish your application, right? Right next to it is navigation between pages. Right now, this is a single page app. We don't have any other ones. If we did, this is where they would be listed. Next to it is the preview button, which allows you to open your app and just see it in a clean browser with no Lovable editor in place. And you can just walk yourself through it and see how everything looks like, how everything works, if everything is flowing the way it should, etc. Right? And this is finally just a refresh button. A lot of times, if you saw earlier, Lovable reported that it had a bug that I was supposed to try to fix. I know that it was just a temporary snag. If you see those, try to always refresh your page first before you click to fix anything. You want to go back to desktop, just one more click, bam, you're there. This project currently does not have Lovable Cloud. Lovable Cloud is something that we're going to cover next week. And this is just your built-in backend, all the functions, everything really that you need to make something work, right? Design is basically just the ability to pick different themes and trigger the visual editor. This another toggle brings you over to the code mode, which we already covered and tested. And then once you publish your project, you will be able to see your project analytics and page speed and even open the terminal, right? So there's a couple more things coming along your way. I'm not going to overwhelm you with this. I just wanted to show you how to navigate starting from the left side, the top, and now we're going to focus our attention to the final bit, which is going to be covered in more depth on day 9 and future days, which is how to share your projects. Like this is exactly where you can create invite links, invite people via email or just by giving them a magic link, export your project to GitHub so that you can have a two-way sync, which means that if you make any changes on Lovable, they get automatically sent and propagated to GitHub, and vice versa. If you used another tool, or if you manually made code changes on GitHub, those would be automatically written back to Lovable as well. You don't have to do anything. This process is fully automated. Once you're ready to go, you will be able to define your URL. If I just typed sales, for example, that is probably taken or reserved, right? But if I just said sales demo page 1, for example, which this page is going to be, I can just save it. I can edit it or add a custom domain. Depending on whether you are on a business plan or a pro plan, you can define whether you want your project to be seen by anyone or published only on your workspace level. Again, we went through our website info, and then when you're ready, you're going to click publish. But before that, you're going to have to run through a security check. Again, something that's going to be covered in week 2. So as I said, this day was not about building at all. It was 100% about you becoming comfortable navigating between different Lovable menus. Tomorrow is the best and the biggest day so far because we're going to build an app from start to finish together. See you tomorrow.